Hello and welcome to Grand Park. I'm Joel A. Erickson. This is Nate Atkins, Colts Insiders for the Indy Star. There may be an appearance from a hoverfly or sweat bee. I have not taken the time to get the proper genus on the species as we go through. Colts had another practice. This is their last Colts-only practice here at Grand Park. There's a joint practice coming up against the Packers, but this portion of camp is coming to an end.
Yeah, it is. One more day, and that's going to tell us some things. Obviously, joint practices always do that. The last one they had in Baltimore, I thought, was arguably the best look for this Colts team because obviously they're going up against a good team. Offense and defense cooked them that day. Did not carry that over to the preseason game. So we'll see how much these 2 days against the Packers, I should say, will separate that, especially at the quarterback position where Anthony Richardson just didn't get reps in the preseason game with the injury, but he's been out here throwing with the pinky. And this is really important for that because ideally they'll go into the Cincinnati game knowing their starter and not having to play the quarterbacks then. Shane Steichen hasn't committed to that, but that seems like the ideal plan if they're going to figure this out.
Yeah, today, interesting day at practice because for the most part the defense kind of carried the day until the very last two-minute drives. Both Richardson and Jones come away with touchdowns, some of their best throws of the day. It's kind of been like that all camp, where you just don't have a ton of separation between the two.
Yeah, that's been the struggle of it. Is they talked a lot about how competition will bring out the best in all of them, but they've played to the competition. When they're up, they're up. When they're down, and it's just left them in a spot where it's 2 very different players stylistically, especially as passers, but they kind of equal the same thing in the end. And so what do you end up choosing out of that? You would like to think, I would like to think that's Anthony Richardson's edge because he has the actual upside in the traits if they're going to be even, if Daniel's not going to come out and win it. But it's been close enough that we're still going to talk about it heading into the joint practice.
Play of the day for me today, we've given you this all camp. We're not going to stop now. Play of the day for me today is Tyler Goodson with a really nice run through the middle of the line for an actual touchdown. It's so hard to tell with running plays, but he's a guy who I think most of us kind of thought wasn't going to be in the running back mix. I think he is. Khalil Herbert is hurt this week. Goodson has been ahead of him on the depth chart. He's got the special teams. I think Goodson might be in the lead for that third running back spot right now, and he had a big play today.
Yeah, Tyler Goodson, it's been a heck of a camp for him, doing all the special teams work and now getting a lane at running back. My play of the day was Ashton Doolin went up for a touchdown in contested situation on a decently deep ball to the end zone. It just looked like a receiver had to go up and make a play, and he's a great athlete, but he hasn't always shown that sort of those hands at the contested catch point. But he did today, brought it down. I thought that was the best catch out there.
Bonus play, A.D. Mitchell had a ball that hit his hands, got all the way down to the ground, looked like he maybe wasn't going to catch it, caught it. It was right in front of me. The referee made a great call. It was a catch. Got to go on, highlight reel type catch. A lot of kind of like big plays for the offense and then bad drives at the same time. So that's what we've got for the last Colts-only day out here at Grand Park. The Colts play the Packers here on Thursday. For the Indy Star, I'm Joel A. Erickson. This is Nate Atkins.
Absolutely, because he just makes you work for it every single day.
You guys are during drills, you got a towel on your head, and Reggie's talking to you. You guys do that a lot during a practice, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, we just talk about different scenarios, coverages. Hey, if he shows this, do that, and just like tips.
Thus far in camp, you've seen both quarterbacks kind of have their ups and downs. Both have their moments. What's been the impression of your 13 days?
I mean, both of them have done a great job, and they show up every single day, and they're out here making plays. So I'm just excited to keep on going forward and keep doing it.
What about this offense at large? Have you seen it get better each and every day?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that we trade days. We'll have a good day, the defense have a good day. That's kind of how it goes in camp. But I definitely think that we have strung a bunch of good days that's building us up for sure.
Why do you think the light bulb has kind of come on for AD over the last couple of weeks with his performance in camp and the joint practices games?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just probably just a matter of time. It was his rookie season. There's a lot of pressure going into that, and I think he's ready to show everybody what he can do.
How much is he asking you questions? Because I feel like as much as you're talking to Reggie, he's talking to you and Reggie and everybody else who's in his vicinity.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's just like a sponge. I mean, he's trying to get every single edge that he can get, and I mean, he's out there doing his thing.
You said Reggie's like an uncle.
Yeah.
You don't say Uncle Reggie.
No, never that.
But again, he sort of can tell you guys, this is what I did, this is what I went through, this is what it takes.
Absolutely. I mean, whenever you had somebody that played at such a high level. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. You have to listen to him. I mean, even if he says the most outrageous thing, you just gotta listen to him because of what he did.
He said too that you guys were the only 3 guys last year 800 yards in the league.
Yeah.
Only the second time in franchise history. He said, but they should have had 1,000. Like he did back in his day.
Yeah.
So he's got high standards.
Absolutely. I mean, Reg is a high standard guy, and excuses do not work with him. So, you better just win.
Have you tried excuses?
Maybe my first couple of times talking to him, but after that I was like, no, I'll just shut up and say yes.
So, what's the biggest thing you want to see in the joint practice in the second preseason game, just to kind of confirm you guys are where you want to be moving forward to the season?
I just think effort. I mean, effort, energy, completions, right? Because I'm a receiver, so we want to see completions. And that's really it. Just making sure that we're playing hard and that our stamina and our conditioning is good.
One more on AD. When it comes to the energy he brings, he's always rapping or dancing.
Yep.
How do you see him kind of flip the switch though when it comes down to okay, I gotta bring the energy and obviously go do something with him on the field?
Yeah, I mean, he always kind of keeps that same high energy, whether he's on the field or off the field. He's always kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? He has that edge to him, just 24/7. So
as the defense sort of started to come into its own, and still a new scheme, but
Yeah.
Are you at that comfort level yet, or does that take more time? Does that take until the regular season?
No, definitely. Obviously, like you said, new scheme and everything, and different kind of style of play. But, my mentality coming into training camp was, how can I still use my style of play within the scheme? And I feel like I've been doing pretty well so far, and I've been getting a lot more comfortable with the calls and all the checks and everything like that. And I feel like, the more that we play, just like today, the scrimmage, just having a bunch of call-it periods, I feel like the guys were able to just go out there and play ball and, get more comfortable within the scheme, and, we've been able to make plays.
It feels like you and Lodge are getting really productive with that tandem rush. You coming from the inside and coming out. Are you noticing how big of a jump has he taken this summer?
Oh, tremendous jump. I mean, he was frustrated his first year and everything, and he went into this off season ready to work, and he came in. He's having a great camp, and he's more comfortable within the scheme after learning all the things, and he's been doing well. I mean, it's been awesome being able to see him come off the edge, and obviously with me and a couple other guys inside, I mean, it takes the pressure off of me, and maybe they can slide some of the protection that way.
He would have these moments after games, or even in the game, where he was just torn up about missing a sack or something.
Yeah.
Did you ever pick up on that, and what advice?
Oh, no, yeah. I told him. I mean, I had those moments, my rookie year as well. I mean, I told him, all of my sacks didn't come to the second half of the season, that I got my rookie season. And, you just got to continue to, keep your head down, keep grinding, keep working, and the sacks are going to come. Just don't press, and it's frustrating. There's a lot of pressure being, the team's #1 pick, being a first-round pick and all that kind of stuff. But, some of those things you got to let the outside noise just stay out and just continue to grind. And I feel like that's what he's been able to do. And, I mean, coming into camp, he's been looking great.
He's talked about how he really wanted this offseason to add a lot more power rushes to his game.
Yeah.
How often do you guys talk about that type of stuff? I mean, it's different roles, but is there advice you can give a young player about how to work on that?
No, yeah. I mean, pass rush is just like a game of chess. You know what I mean? Just like the rest of the game. It's a game within the game. And, being able to set up, your go-to moves and stuff like that, you got to set it up with a little power and little things like that to keep the offensive lineman guessing. You know what I mean? Once you got them guessing and him being able to feel like, okay, this guy can power me and all that kind of stuff, he's going to start sitting a little, more stout, and that's when you can start hitting him on the edge.
For someone like yourself who obviously doesn't need to play a ton in preseason games, how valuable is a joint practice? How much do you evaluate yourself off of that in terms of readiness?
No, yeah. I mean, like you said, not being able to get the reps out there on the field, it's joint practice is treated like a game day. You know what I mean? The ones get a lot of the reps. And so that's how I really evaluate myself. And obviously, even each and every rep that I get out here, I mean, I take advantage of every opportunity that I get and, just try to do the best of, what I can do and within my craft and all that kind of stuff. And, just continue to stack consistent days.
Thanks,
All right. Appreciate y'all.
Who's your favorite player on the defense right now?
Number 99, Mr. Buckner, and apparently makes a lot of money. I didn't know that.
So this has been very trying on your secondary. Obviously, a lot of guys out. At the same time, you're getting good looks at Jonathan Edwards and Alex Johnson. How are those two specifically stepping
yeah, I think as you mentioned, it just creates opportunity for everybody, and those guys are going to get a ton of reps in these next 2 preseason games, and it's going to benefit us down the road. Both guys are challenging. They've got their good moments and bad moments. That's like playing a corner in this league, but they're doing a lot of good things.
You are mixing and matching a lot like that, trying to figure that picture out back there. Just how much of a luxury is it to have Buckner and Latu and the things that they're able to do together right now?
Yeah, it's great. They're veteran guys now. Latu's veteran, but really explosive guy, and working with Buck and Quiddy when he's out there, and Ty, and the whole group. It's Samson. It's got a chance to be a special group.
Are you going into this joint practice differently than last week's?
Really, our approach, Shane's approach, especially on our side, is we're not game planning anything. It is basic calls and go watch guys run, cover, get off blocks, and tackle. I don't want anybody making an error. I want them just to see how they play. And to me, that's the best way you find is, you don't necessarily game plan in the preseason. We're just looking to see who can play fast.
Shane mentioned a quarter for your guys. Why do you like that, seeing them in an actual game setting?
I mean, I just think, we're in a new defense, and, as long as number 90 does his job. Oh, hey, Grove. What's up, Grove? Good to see you. Now, we're looking forward to getting the guys together and actually stepping out there and in Lucas Oil for the first time in 2025 and making an impact.
With Jonathan, been a starter in the preseason type of guy like you'd like to see?
We've kind of been a mixed bag. It's Cincy less playing than more. We've done both though, so I'm indifferent.
With Jonathan Edwards, what has he done well to get you guys traction?
Well, these rookie corners, he's got his hands on a bunch of footballs, so let's start with that. He showed up in a run fit the other day, which was great to see. He'll come up and tackle. So, he's got a ways to go, but he's certainly got the traits that you're looking for.
Since we last asked you about him, Hunter Wooler's made about 100 more plays in camp, it seems like. What's the growth been like for him?
It's been good. There's certainly those flash plays that you see. Still got a ways to go with some of the other things, but certainly he's done a good job coming in, inserting himself into the defense, and knowing he does a great job of studying what the calls are, obviously, and where he's supposed to be. He's done a good job communicating for a young guy, so I'm pleased with where he's at.
Joe Bocci's a guy you obviously have tons of familiarity with, obviously knows this game, has been able to make the transition very easy. What benefit has he brought maybe to the rest of the group in terms of bringing the defense in?
Yeah, good question. I just think Joe knows it so well, and he can help, as you mentioned, everybody. Settles everybody down. If there's a particular check, he already knows it. He's been there. He's done that in games, So I just think he helps that whole room for sure. And then when he's out there, I think things are settled down a little bit as the other guys continue to learn it.
That linebacker spot next to Zaire, is it still pretty open?
Yeah, I think, we've got a great group there. I'm excited about all of them. I'm excited the way they run around. Cam, AA, obviously Z just working back into it. JC, once he gets back. So we like to play a lot of players, and we will, So we'll see how that things all shakes out. But I'm very excited about that group.
How does Hunter Wooler kind of fit into all that with their safety, et cetera, and how much has he excelled?
Well, we'll see. That's still to be determined. Again, still a long way to go for him, but we like what we see, and we're certainly not going to keep any good players on the bench. So.
When you got split out to Tyler,
one more time.
When Tyler and Hunter were opposite.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was a heck of a play. Was able to knock the ball away, and that's a win. So I was pleased. Somebody else? Oh, there. On who? Kenny, yeah, Shane. I'll leave those injury questions to Shane.
Joe, why do you think he's able to, at least throughout training camp, kind of show some stuff in coverage that is, and why do you think he's always
Well, yeah, I think it's anticipation. He plays with great awareness. He's got just really good football IQ. So, he's kind of ahead of the play, ahead of the game in that way. And when you're like that, you're able to make plays. So. All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, I'll just start off recapping everything in Baltimore, kind of go through since it's been a while since we've talked and there's a lot that happened. So special teams-wise, joint practice last Tuesday in Baltimore, really felt that the guys played our good on good, played a really high standard, and we really believe won every single period in the joint practice. We left that practice feeling really happy about where everything was at. Obviously, that did not translate over into the first half of the preseason game. Then What did we not do in the joint practice? The number one area that we need to improve on from the preseason game is live tackling. Today, for the first time in a scrimmage setting, we did live tackling on special teams. We got to improve our fundamentals of our tackling. We played 54 different players in the game on special teams, so obviously a lot of players got a chance to get an opportunity. Try to give everybody as much of an opportunity as we possibly can, especially guys further back on that depth chart. And take advantage of your opportunity. As we all know, you get more opportunities, and if you don't, obviously you won't. So kind of go through a recap a little bit, just kickoff-wise. I know we've talked a little bit about kickoff, questions and stuff that might come up with it. We saw, obviously, an explosive kickoff that the Ravens ended up having in our game. You really have to find a lot of different ways to be creative on kickoff with the new model. In the new model, the kickoff team is flattened out at the 40-yard line. In the old model, you would have been running full speed, 35 to 30-yard line when the ball was caught. In the XFL model, the kickoff team was 5 yards further up than where we're at the 35-yard line. So what you're going to see, especially in joint practice, what some teams are even doing and working more scheme in preseason games, and what you would normally do is you got to try to get the ball on the ground. You got to try to play keep away. You got to run twist games. You got to try to fold. You got to flow different guys to the ball to try to create different levels. If you're playing it vanilla like we were in that last preseason game, then we got to do a great job playing gapped out defense, holding our lane. We had one player that over squeezed to the right and lost leverage on the returner. Another player ended up backdooring and going to the left. So one guy goes too far to the right, one guy goes too far to the left. We can't let that happen. We've got to be able to squeeze in our lane with leverage to the returner and then shed to be able to make the play, which we felt like we did a really good job in the joint practice and have to continue to build off of that as we continue to kind of figure out what scheme and things we're going to work with as we do that. Punt-wise in the joint practice, Rigo punted the ball at an elite level. He had 6 live punts. His average distance was 55 yards. His average hang time was 4.99. We did not punt the ball well to start the game, and Rigo knows that. The first 2 punts were not good enough. The first punt was a very poor punt, put some pressure on the coverage guys. We had 2 young guys. There was a young rookie that had the opportunity to make the tackle right there to start off the game, and we ended up missing the tackle, and we've got to continue to work our coverage and tackling. They end up getting the punt return touchdown. We have 3 players that have the returner corralled in a really good position to be able to make the play. We've got to be able to be under control and work on the fundamentals of our tackling. We have one guy that's out of control that kind of takes out another one of our guys. Another guy ends up missing the tackle. The ball gets out into space. We dive and leave our feet to miss 2 more tackles. We've got to gather. We've got to be able to wrap and squeeze, run our feet to be able to do our job and tackle. That's an inexcusable coverage errors that we had to start that game. Guys got a little bit more comfortable and settled in as the game went on. Obviously, we'll continue to give guys more opportunities as we work through preseason and joint practice to see some of those things, but we definitely have to fix tackling. That's probably our number one thing. From a kicker standpoint, Spencer Schrader, I think, overall has been doing a really good job. He's made 87% of his kicks overall throughout training camp. I think he's kicking better in training camp than he was in OTAs. I think he's kicking better in week 3 of training camp than he was in week 1. Obviously, anytime you have a new starting kicker, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but I think he's getting more comfortable. I think he handled pregame really well in Baltimore. He certainly has the leg up in this competition. Maddox is kicking 78% versus him kicking 87%. So Spencer will start to get a bulk of the load as we move forward today. He had a majority of the kicks today in practice. He will be the starting kicker and the only kicker that will kick this weekend on Saturday against the Packers. Maddox will certainly get an opportunity. Obviously we'll reassess after the Packers game, but Maddox will get an opportunity to be able to get some film out there and show what he can do in the last game.
So it sounds like when you're evaluating, practice is super important, obviously, but for your guys, does the game sort of outweigh practices a little bit because of that tackling element at all, or is it, I don't know?
Certainly from a tackling standpoint. Yeah, so like the joint practice, when we're good on good and we're working, a lot of different scheme and stuff that we're planning to do on regular season, that's really like the time that we're evaluating, like how are guys able to handle things. From a tackling standpoint, certainly it's coming in the preseason game.
Tom, you mentioned 54 different guys on special teams. When, at what point, or do you in training camps start to whittle that down to find out who can do what for you in the regular season?
Yeah, so like the joint practice is a great time to be able to put guys in a lot of spots that we're going to do stuff for regular season to see what they can do. But every preseason game, we're going to try to play as many guys as possible to give everybody an opportunity. Certainly now it's that point of the training camp where we have a lot of injuries and guys that are banged up, and it's just going to be the next man up. And there's going to be more guys at the back end of the depth chart that as a result, special teams-wise, are going to get more reps. As starters or different guys on the offense and defense are out, then those twos are going to be elevated to play more offense and defense. So we'll end up playing, obviously not with those guys on special teams. So in every preseason game, we're going to try to give as many guys opportunities as we can.
Tyler Goodson laid out everything he did just to get kind of in shape to take on all this role with boxing and cardio in the offseason. Just what have been your impressions of the way he's taken all those opportunities so far?
I think Tyler Goodson is having an excellent camp. I thought he did a great job in the joint practice with the Ravens. I thought he did a very good job in a limited role that we used him in the preseason game. Since he was really the starting running back and getting a lot of carries early in the game, we didn't use him until the end of the first half or a little bit in the third quarter. But I think he has really improved. I think he can do some really good things as a starter on special teams.
Spencer's already obviously having a good camp, but what do you need to clean up a little bit for him just to get to that 90 you were talking about?
Yeah, I think he's certainly improving a little bit more. He's just got to continue to get comfortable. There's been in the joint practice, he had a 56-yarder that he slightly pulled to the left. In the game, he had a 52-yarder that he slightly pulled to the left. So just understanding the different situations and how to play the ball so we're not pulling the ball to the left, which has been the issue that's come up here of late. But really, he'll just continue to get more comfortable. I think he'll continue to get more consistent, which he's done.
Okay, all right. All right, appreciate y'all coming out. Really good day's work. Had some heat out there. The guys got after it. The guys competed. Been doing a good job all camp competing. It was exciting to see some of the fire the guys had today. So.
What do you think about the way Tyler Goodson has responded to Giddens and Herbert being here?
Goody's a pro that I've seen get better every week and every year since he's gotten here. He's really had a nice off season into training camp. And when you're a running back, you got to take advantage of your opportunities when the pads are on, because when the pads are off, it's not quite running the football like it would be in a game or when the pads are on. And Goody is hitting runs and playing with some physicality and catching the ball well and picking up blitzes and just making the most of his opportunities. So he's been great around the group, around the locker room. A really good guy for our team, and he's working really hard, and you can see that paying off.
Is his burst through the hole kind of his carrying trait?
Well, it's certainly something he does really well. Yeah, he when he sees the opening, right, sometimes those running backs, they're reading a certain guy or a certain gap or something. Once he sees that opening, boy, he hits it, and that's what you want out of the backs. No hesitation. Turn it on and hit the gas, and he's got some pretty good gas, so he's doing a nice job right now.
To finish the practice on that 2 minute or minute and a half, whatever it was, to see your guys, Anthony went in there, you got to be kind of pleased with that.
Yeah, very encouraging. It's been a camp with some ups and downs. Lou's defense, our guys on defense they're throwing some haymakers at us, and they've won a few of those battles. And today our guys sort of answered back. We hit a few big passes and big runs, and made a few plays when it was needed. Good to see that. I'm sure the guys are fired up to go out there and take advantage of those opportunities because they work so hard. They go through all these routes. Nobody's watching. Nobody's looking at them. And you have it show up in a big moment, and there's a big blitz coming, and you throw the ball up to Josh Downs or you throw the ball up to whoever, and those guys go make the play. It's really encouraging for us as a staff, and I'm sure it's a confidence-building situation for all our guys.
Why do you think the light has kind of come on a little bit throughout camp for A.D. Mitchell? And also, I noticed throughout camp today, he's always talking to somebody about a route, about a play or something. So what are you saying from that aspect as well?
Yeah, AD's had a really, really good run here of late. He's had some, different competition, what with going against Baltimore and our guys. We're trying to give him just about the entire route tree to let him try all those routes out and see what he's really comfortable with and what he's really good at and what he can sort of work on to improve. And that's a part of the second question. He's always sort of talking about how to get open, how to run a route versus certain leverage or versus certain coverage. He's pretty good for a young guy, especially about coming back and asking the quarterbacks, hey, what did you think about that? I might have done something that maybe the rules say I shouldn't have released that way, but I won on it. Is the quarterback okay with it? So that's part of a young receiver becoming a veteran receiver is learning what the quarterback's like so you can, when you do get open, that ball's where you want it. He's doing a nice job. He's really talented. We're excited about the future with AD.
You guys, the competition, the quarterback competition seems close, from our vantage point. Is this what you expected? Did you think? I don't think you thought one guy would run away with this.
These guys are both good players that have played good football in this league, and we expect them to come out and compete really, really hard. And we expected competition to bring out the best in both of them, and that's what we're seeing. Hey, it hasn't been perfect here, there, whatever, right? We get our pluses and our minuses, but the guys each run a different group, different periods of the day, and shoot, they're competing to score as many points as they can with that group, or move the ball as much as they can, or whatever the success is in that drill. I think it is raising the level of each of them. So it's good to see. It's good for our offense. And then, the better they're playing, the better the guys around them are playing. And that's they're feeding off each other. That's been really good to see.
How do you feel like Anthony has grown and responded ever since the issue with his pinky?
Yeah, he's done a nice job the last few days. He's been working through different things. Obviously, we're coaching him up on all sorts of different stuff like we do every position and every time of the year. But he's doing a nice job, really answering the bell today with some really big drives. We had opportunity to hit some big ones. He hit some big ones. He led the team down the field. Sort of when a play needs making, we're looking at who's going to go make it. And Anthony made a few of those today that were really, really exciting and really encouraging.
Jim Bob, what's the importance of cadence for a quarterback, and what do you do when you got two quarterbacks kind of sharing a spot?
Yeah, great question. It is important for our whole offense. If you're very, very predictable, the defensive line loves that. They get off the ball, and the offensive line hates that. And if the offensive line hates something, then the quarterback hates something because that pocket gets a little bit nasty. So we try to mix and match our cadence. We try to keep the defense off guard, but we're trying to also play with some rhythm. When you have two quarterbacks, they have to really sort of make sure that the rhythmic nature of their cadence sort of fits the either offensive line that they're working with, either receiver group that they're working with. So it's been something that you always have to work on, making sure it kind of sounds the same to everybody and sounds the same from everybody. It's important to us. We have not been perfect at it. It's something we're working to improve with sort of the discipline of all the false starts and things like that when we do have them. But guys are working through their cadence. We are mixing it up a little bit, trying to keep our defense off guard.
The offensive line has to be able to feel where he's going, but the defensive line can't. Is that simplified version?
Yeah, I mean, hey, the cadence we always say the cadence is a weapon, right? Hey, offensively, we break the huddle. We know the cadence. We know when the ball is going to be snapped. The defense does not. Let's use that against them. But sometimes we might have just taught a brand new play and somebody up front has made sure that they remember their adjustment versus a certain defensive look, and they just forget that we changed the cadence. So it's something we're always working through, a little push-pull for our guys.
What have you seen from him specifically in those last few days, but also just throughout camp of how he's kind of stepped up and expanded?
Yeah, I see his route running getting better and better and better, and I see him going up and really high pointing the ball with a lot of success. He's going up and getting those things, which in turn helps the quarterbacks feel confident to throw that ball up. Sometimes at tight end you might be covered, but he's a pretty tall, long guy. Quarterbacks throw that ball up. He goes up and gets it. He's been running pretty good routes in this camp too, which has helped him having to make some of those contested catches because he's been open a little bit more. So it all works together. Will's having a really nice camp. We're excited about his future.
Are you pretty much beyond the point of treating Tyler Warren like a rookie?
Well, I think it's really important that you understand where guys are out in their career. So he's doing a good job picking up all the stuff we have to pick up, and for a lot of rookies, the mental learning part of that thing can be a challenge. He's done a really nice job with that. It's important for us to make sure we don't overload him with so much information because he's doing such a nice job. We do need to keep a reminder in our own heads of where he's come from, how long he's been playing, but he's doing a great job. We'll kind of keep pushing him as much as he can take. We'll keep pushing him. All right? So appreciate y'all.